Ètò akọ́mọlédè ló ń dé sójú ìwòran yín láti iléeṣẹ́ móhùnmáwòrán WSTV ìkànnì 102 channel 190 lórí Star Times. Folúṣọ́ aya Olúwagbémiga ìyá ìjọ pèdèpèdè ìyá akọ́mọlédè ló kọ tèmi. Yorùbá dùn púpọ̀, Yorùbá ò lè kú, Yorùbá ò lè parun. Tiwa làṣà, tiwa lèdè, tiwa nìṣẹ̀ṣe akọ́mọlédè.
The Korean War of 1950 to 1953 pitched North and South Korea against each other in response to intrigues by nations beyond their border with different interests from those canvassed by the two brother nations. The Korean War had all the nuances of an external conflict induced by powers that were interested in subjugating North and South Korea. Japan had leveraged on its military power to annex Korea in 1900 and imposed a military union that did not sit well with the citizens. Japan not only lost its war of conquest against Korea, all its powers were obliterated by the effect of the World War II. The end of World War II got Korea divided into two nations along 38 parallel lines by the instrumentality of the United States of America and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. The Korean War lapsed into a Cold War when it stopped the prying eyes of external forces into the internal affairs of a nation now divided along its north and southern territories. Western Spring Television identifies the Korean War as a major event in history. Ahmadu Bello, a Prince Royal, was born 6th of December 1910 at Raba Village, Sokoto, northwestern Nigeria. His father was a district head and heir apparent to the Sultanate throne from the house of Usmanu Danfodio, a religious and social reformer who brought the Habib dynasty under the Fulani Caliphate in the beginning of the 19th century. Ahmadu Bello raised the bar of political consciousness in participation when, in 1944, he engineered the establishment of the Northern People's Congress (NPC) as the first political party in northern Nigeria and the rallying point for politicians in the region before independence. History will not forget Ahmadu Bello for his charisma and political sagacity, which provided easy passage for his kinsmen to assume political and administrative positions in Nigeria's post-independence era. The distinguished elder statesman and Sardauna of Sokoto has his face on his country's 200 naira currency as a mark of honor to one of the architects of Nigeria's independence. Western Spring Television identifies Ahmadu Bello as a watershed character in history. James Ajibolaige was a lawyer who obtained his first degree in classics from Nigeria's premier University of Ibadan. Born September 13, 1930, the orator and the polyglot spoke impeccable English, French, Igbo, Hausa, and Yoruba languages. His fine diction placed him among classical orators and public speakers like Cicero, the Roman orator. This attribute earned him the prefix Cicero of Esauke. He authored Kaduna Boy, an autobiography, Detainee's Diary, Constitution, and the People, among 6 other books. Bolaige was a colorful politician, elected governor of Oyo State in 1979 and appointed a federal minister in 1999. He was a pioneer founder of Afenifere, the Yoruba social, cultural, and political group. He invested his political sagacity to propel the group to the height of political leadership and decision-making in the southwest of Nigeria. Bolaige was assassinated on the 23rd December 2001. His murderers are yet to be apprehended till today. Western Spring Television identifies Bolaige as a watershed character in history.
Àbújá ni olú ìlú orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Ọjọ́ 12 oṣù 12 ọdún 1991 ni wọ́n gbé ibùjókòó agbára Nàìjíríà kúrò nílùú Èkó lọ sílùú Àbújá lásìkò ìṣèjọba ológun Ọ̀gágun fẹ̀yìntì Ibrahim Babangida. Ìlú Àbújá ni ìlú kẹjọ tí èrò pọ̀ sí jùlọ nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà. Ó sì jẹ́ ìlú olódi tó wà ní.
Welcome back. Let's get the show started properly at this moment in time. And once again, if you're just joining us, you're just tuning in, I'd like to say good morning to you. Thank you most sincerely for being here. Quite a whole lot has to be said and done this very Friday morning, the very, very last edition for the week. I have about three dailies with me and quite a whole lot of headlines associated to all these stories this beautiful morning. We'll look into them, but I am not going to be doing this alone. And I have the singular honor of welcoming my guests and analysts this morning, because it's going to be a two-in-one thing. Once we are done with newspapers, there are other things we will discuss, and I'm still going to have him seated with me. It's a very massive pleasure having Mr. FUNMISO BABARINDE, a PDP chieftain in this great city of ours here. Mr. BABARINDE, thank you most sincerely for joining me.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you. Let's kick things off at this moment in time from the pages of the Punch newspaper. Quite a whole lot of stories making the round from that daily here. And the big bold caption there says, food shortage. Tinubu declares state of emergency. Plans 500,000 hectares farmland. Now, there are two riders to that story. President orders year-round farming, releases fertilizers, grains to farmers, households, security agents deployed to farms as federal government plans transport concessionary loans for farmers. The Punch newspaper has that big bold caption there. Mr. Warren, let's look at this. At this moment in time, we all know what the situation of the country looks like. Yeah. There's so much of poverty in the nation. People are drowning. Even those of us whereby you probably after work, there's a place you go to relax, eat the catfish and whatever. But at this point, everybody has a thought of, I don't think there are opportunities here. But Mr. President declaring the state of emergency, let me take it from there. What do you make of that?
The last 40-something days of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been exciting, when you use the language. Exciting in the sense that, yes, he promised to hit the ground running, and I think he's doing exactly that. But yes, it is good that he has declared emergency in the food security, if I may use that language, sector, because there is pressure, if I may use that language, on everybody, on every household there's pressure. After the removal of the subsidy, I think there are only two things that Nigerians are doing now. Looking for money to buy fuel into their car to move, and looking for money to buy food to put on the table. You cannot do any other thing. You can practically do any other thing apart from those two. And you discover that if you wake up in the morning and you're having about 20,000 naira with you, if you use half of it to buy fuel, you're just buying 20 liters of fuel for 10,000 naira. And the remaining 10,000 naira, by the time your wife collects money, in fact, for a family of three now, the 10,000 might not be enough to cook.
Absolutely.
If just the mother, father, and just one child, you understand? So it's terrific.
Absolutely.
And yes, declaring emergency is good, but I have issues with the 8,000 naira for households.
Yeah, it's something we'll come and discuss in the course of our major program.
But it's the right step in the right direction, the kind of look. There's a problem, and the government has identified that there's a problem. And finding solutions to it, I think we have to push it back and forth to see how to cushion the effect of that issue.
I'm looking at the rider on that same story here. President orders year-round farming. Nigeria, in the early, the likes of you, you were growing up, we knew that it was always cocoa. Agriculture was the mainstay of our production, and collective thing here in this country. But all of a sudden, the advent of fuel, petroleum has taken that thing away drastically. But now that Mr. President is calling for, is ordering a year-round farming, I had the privilege of traveling to across Nigeria to some of the northern states, and I see what it looks like. Fallow lands just everywhere. Can this be the opportunity we have all been waiting for? All these lands that are just there, can it be used for agriculture? But let's put in mind the spate of insecurity, Boko Haram and all these people attacking farms.
Yes, let's even come back a little bit to get this discussion clearer. In Osun, for example, or let me say in Southwest generally, during the AWOLO era, we used to have farm settlements.
Absolutely, yes.
And in those farm settlements, there are facilities, there are infrastructures there that if you are staying there, even those who are staying in the city will envy you the more because you have everything at your beck and call. There's provision for almost everything. And just from your farmhouse to your farm and back to your house, so you seldom come to town. What am I driving at? The advent of petroleum took us away as a nation from agriculture, and for our kind of population and what God has blessed us with, I think drifting back to agriculture will be one of the best things that could happen to us at this point in time. Knowing fully well that even when you look at the energy, the petroleum thing, it's not too much. It does not help us. That's the bitter truth.
It's just a segment of people getting
just a few people. It has empowered just few at the detriment of millions of Nigerians. And like Rade said again, look at the northern part of the country. They have two major issues when it comes to agriculture that the government should critically look into, and that is insecurity and the deforestation.
Okay.
You understand? And if you can remember the inaugural, probably it is during the campaign or during the inaugural speech of the president, he said he's going to recharge Lake Chad. He said they're going to recharge that Lake Chad because for us to do an on-round season farming, there has to be irrigation. You understand? So that at least all through the year there could be we can produce and produce and produce food items. And let me tell you, I once traveled to Israel. And I discovered nothing. This is practically a desert.
Yeah,
but I discovered the farm all through the year.
Yeah.
And then when it's in Israel that I've traveled to that I discovered that when you enter a restaurant, nobody dishes food for you.
You dish yourself.
You dish for yourself. You understand? You take as much as you can. And if you just take 2 or 3 spoons and you didn't finish it, to them it's not a waste, because that thing you call waste, you're still going to be recycled to do something else. So nothing. You understand?
It's a waste.
Nothing is a waste. So it's more than like you know, if you are waking up this morning and food is not your problem, you have an opportunity of doing the critical thinking to do some other things that will be beneficial. Absolutely. But in our country today, the first thing that comes to mind is what am I going to eat? Then when is the next food coming? And that's serious. Then look at the other area. Yes, I once traveled to practically all the northern part of the country about 20 years ago. I've slept in Jigawa, I've slept in Panji, and I slept with the commoners there in where I slept while I was on my way to Maiduguri. What am I driving at? Then there's nothing like somebody's going to hurt you or kidnap you or waylay you. You understand? But all of a sudden, this banditry, all these challenges came in, and most of our farmers, for anywhere they are farming in the north now, they are now paying some local warlords. You understand? Some non-state actors before they will go to their farm, and this has drastically affected the agricultural output, which is eventually translates to the food not being available, and where it's available is at a very terrible cost. Yes, one of the things that they could do again, the federal government should look into, is the area of tax on agricultural products. And I think even all those who are making revenue, they're generating revenue, even at the state level, at the local government level, I think people that are bringing agricultural products from farms should be exempted from all these things. That could be a way to pushing the effect of what is currently going on, because nobody is thinking in that direction. If you're bringing something from, let me say, Ogbomoso now to Osun, there are 1 or 2 points that you see some people that will stop those trucks, collect money from them, that you are carrying this, or any food product crossing the country, across all the states. I think there should be a law, an edict or something that they should allow all those trucks move freely, so that it will reduce the cost of bringing in those foods from the hinterland to the main city for consumption. These are issues.
We just hope federal government and the government at all levels will take a cue from what is being discussed here by my analyst, Mr. Babarinde. It's very, very essential, because if once, just like the Yorubas would say, once food is out of one's problem, the rest is history. Let's move on here. Still staying with the Punch newspaper, I want to take a look at the picture there. It's kind of like funny, but it's something that my producer and I were discussing it just a few moments before I came on here. That's Nigeria-born Israel Adesanya, sparing alongside one of the richest men in the world. That's Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook Meta man. And I actually waited that you will be here, sir. If you have the opportunity for you will get like $50 million US. And you have to go and spare up with somebody like Mike Tyson, who doesn't even box anymore. $50 million is there. And to just spare for the next 20 minutes with Mike Tyson, will you collect that kind of money?
To spare with Mike Tyson will be one blue and one is gone. You won't have time to even spend that $50 million. Because
I look at that picture, sir, and look at the way the guy was pinned down. And he was being hit. I heard that Mark Zuckerberg is planning to go into mixed martial arts, and I don't know, some rich men at times, weird ideas. I don't know. Somebody will come and ask me today to come and fight spare. I would say I would rather live in hunger because one blow might lead me. Oh boy! Let's move on here. On the top strip of the Nation newspaper, National Assembly approves 819 billion naira for subsidy palliatives and projects. We'll come to that in the course of the program and look at what 12 million households will be getting, and these palliative things, how will this really work? We've had this quite a whole lot, even during the last administration, trader money and what have you. But all these things, did it work out, and how can it work out and we can get it correctly here? All right, service chiefs get Senate's nod, vow to tackle insecurity. We've heard this quite a whole lot, but this set of people, I looked at, I think it was Lagbaja, the chief of Army Staff, with what he said, most especially concerning IPOB, ESN. We've seen what it looks like in the Southeast these days. It's been very, very terrible. Ordering seats at home, non-state actors telling people, where are the military, where are the people? But with what the new service chiefs are up to, it's rather too early though, but the body language of Mr. President speaks a lot with what happened yesterday. Approval, instance, there and there. Do you see a rejig in our security apparatus in the country?
Well, with the new set of service chiefs that we're having now, and but the Nigerian factor, because sometimes when you are new in an office, all those initial you understand that, okay, I really need to tell them this, I need to do that. So I think we need to give them some time before we start analyzing them. But the truth of the matter is that non-state actors have taken over a lot of things in this country. Absolutely. The bandits and Boko Haram doing their things, the Northeast and the kidnappers and then the Southeast. And when you, in the last couple of weeks, when you look at what those guys are doing in Southeast, I think the Southeasterners will have to have a rethink, because whatever they are doing is hurting them the more, and the long-term effect will be there for the next 50, 100 years. Because when you see young children who are in school and you line them up and start beating them because they didn't listen to the sit-at-home thing, the trauma that they're going to go through will be with them for the rest of their life if care is not taken. And what would they think? Like, look, in their own home, in their own father's land, in their own community, somebody said they cannot go out, they cannot move freely, and not the government. And like I said, there is a whole lot of gamut. I think the security agencies should look at both kinetic and non-kinetic approach. You understand? Because when you use too much force, the collateral damage might be there. You understand? So they have to go between the two. And the leaders, the community leaders, the Igbo elders should find their way around this. You understand? Because those they're not in my village in Southwest now. Then it is still their community. You know, but a lot of them pay heavily. They pay to those guys for protections too, because they don't want them to go and burn their properties. They don't want them to go and hurt their businesses. But the truth of the matter is that Igbos are known as street business people, and what they are doing is affecting them, because for a day shutdown, a lot of billions will have passed. So I think they should have a rethink on how if they have a genuine agitation. I think they should go through the books and see how they're going to pursue it legitimately in a free atmosphere, not this coercion that is going on.
All right, coming straight to the bottom strip of the Punch newspaper, still there. EU report, opposition demands INEC chairman's prosecution, APC fumes. We heard that a couple of weeks, sometime last week or thereabout, something last week or probably, whereby the report of the EU. What do you make of that report?
Well, it's neither here nor there. Ask me out. Number one, if that report has commended that process, everybody will go to town with it. You understand? And now that they said that there are some flaws, for me, I'm not too particular about foreigners putting too much words into local issues. You understand? For me as an individual, but you see, at the end of the day, we all know we are all part of what happened during that last election. Yeah, there are a lot of things that are not too right. You understand? From the INEC, from all the security agents, and what have you, and from even some some people who decided that if you're not going to vote for somebody, they will beat you. We had a lot of issues on that. But like I said, the good thing is that we're not where we are in 1999. Absolutely, we are moving, and after that election, one of the things I advocated for as an individual was the fact that we should unbundle INEC. INEC should be unbundled. You understand? Let some people take care of registration and collection of card. Let there be an agency related to INEC that will take care of that. Let there be some people that will take care of transportation and logistics. Not that INEC will oversee everything. I think they have a lot of things that they are contending with. So at the end of the day, there's always loophole and lapses. At the end of the day, look at the violence aspect of the election. I think there should be an agency to look into that, so that they will be the one that will prosecute, not INEC handling that again. The legal aspect, the legal and the violence and legal aspect. So I think INEC should be unbundled to like 5 other agencies, so that at least for them to be maximally, because everything we do in this country now depends on the outcome of all elections. You understand? You can imagine how many litigations we have in the courts now. The court, our lawyers, our judiciary people no longer have time to educate on other issues. The only thing they concentrate on the first 6 months after election is those election petitions and stuff like that. So I think we should find a way of whittling down some of this. If the election is free and fair to a large extent, a lot of people will not go to court. They won't go to tribunal. You understand? But because everybody felt, look, this process didn't go the way it's supposed to go, that's why we have this whole gamut of petitions there and there across board.
All right, let's move on quickly. Let's go straight to Daily Trust newspaper. Daily Trust newspaper is what I have next here. And you have that big bold caption there, supplementary budget. Senators, rep, get 70 billion naira to enhance working condition. And a couple of writers associated to that story. It says it's height of insensitivity. That's credited to CSOs. Fund is for National Assembly, not us. That's credited to lawmakers speaking there. Atiku kicks as Senate approves Tinubu's 800 million loan. Well, it's going to be part of what we'll talk about properly in the course of this program. So I won't ask Mr. Babarinde to play it here, but let's look at other stories making the rounds from that same daily. Plateau crisis, tight security as court members arrive arrived new NYSC orientation camp. Plateau State has been boiling even in the last couple of days, and I saw a couple of videos that went viral about dead bodies being picked up, and I feel so terribly bad because now I'm reminiscing. I'm kind of like seeing that video again in my head. How can all this? How can there be respite in Nigeria, not using Plateau State as a case study here? What's your take?
Well, let me start this with our security agencies over the years are not used to the kind of this new wave of insecurity that we have now. You know, it's an internal thing, and for a long time, Nigeria does not. It's a peaceful country. But I don't know, something went wrong somewhere, and we have this influx of foreigners. And look at the crisis in the Middle East, Syria, Libya, and some other things. So, and those things, the downward movement of some of the non-actors, you understand, has really affected us at the regional level. You understand, Nigeria. They saw Nigeria as a place where they can make some money for themselves. Because there's heat on them where they are coming from. They look for a place to settle down. So one of the things that we have not really, the government has not really looked into is border control, influx of people into the country. Yeah. We have hundreds of thousands of ways you can enter Nigeria without even anybody saying across all the states that border this country. And I think it will be a worthwhile investment if the government looks into how to control the influx of people into Nigeria as well. Number two, we are not properly identified in this country. That's the bitter truth. You have NIN, you have driver's license, you have your voter's card, and all the what have you. You understand? You still go back to your village and take your certificate identification. What am I driving at? If all those things are clinically looked into, the tendency that we're going to have people that are not supposed to be at a particular place in point in time, then I think our security agencies needed to do more tackling this thing via technology. How do I mean? Okay, look at that plateau, for example. That thing has been there over a period of time. I think it has a sequence. They could have looked at that sequence and see how they can manipulate the situation to make sure that they are ahead, at least, of all these people. You understand? Then intelligence gathering is one of the best way to tackle insecurity. Where is our intelligence community? What have they been doing? You understand? Things don't just happen. People will have planned it, they will have discussed it, and why they should have picked up the intelligence about all these things prior to and when it's going to happen, so that at least they will have put in place things, security situations that won't allow it to happen. That Plateau State is in the last even from January. If you look at how many people that has killed, it's terrible.
Honestly, I'm seeing this here. It's on the pages of Guardian newspaper. Here it says 346 persons killed, 18,751 displaced in Plateau.
Can you imagine that? Even one person does what it not talk of three in the span of about 5-6 months. It does not worth it at all. I think that should be. Then you see, our security they are overstretched.
Yes,
that's the bitter truth. Almost every part of the country has one challenge or the other. Now, one young man, recently was going to camp. This new in Shagam or something. Took a bus from Ibadan, and before he got to Shagam, they were kidnapped from a bus from normal park, not one on the road, and they are demanding 30 million or something funny like that from the father now or something funny like that. It's crazy. You understand? When you are going to anywhere now, you'll be looking left, right, and back and forth. You understand? You are no longer sure of what can happen next. I think, and that's one of the things that's affecting even our agricultural production that we talked earlier on. Yes. So I think fundamentally, apart from tackling this issue of fuel subsidy removal pressure, I think the government should critically look into that area of insecurity. The new service chiefs should please. There should be a synergy, because when you look at the way our security agencies work in Nigeria, I'm sorry to say this, I'm not sure they are together. Everybody wanted to prove being superior to one another. This one wanted to act like I'm in charge.
I think in the course of this new administration, that was one of the messages the President PBAT sent across to all security agencies that, look, I want all of you to work in cohesion.
They should be on the same table for the interest of the country. They should be on the same table. Nobody's supposed to. Everybody has a clear-cut schedule of what they are supposed to do, and everybody should just do that. They should exchange communication so that they will be, because working alone is not too good for us as citizens. And it is the citizen. It's a common word that they are using in funding them. So they should please, but that plateau thing needed the special attention.
Oh boy, we just pray. We hope all this will be sorted, and so that at least, because virtually everybody, when we sleep now, you don't sleep with both eyes closed. There's always any little sound, you wake up and like, what's happening? Boy. All right, that's from Daily Trust. Let me switch over to the Guardian newspaper. Just look at other stories that we have not really touched here. From the pages of the Guardian newspaper, DSS charges Emefiele to court after judge issued 1 week ultimatum. This is something that is always, we've seen the likes of Nnamdi Kanu, we've seen so many people whereby the court will say, look, if I have been arrested and charged concerning something, the next thing is charge him to court. But when the court says something, we know this was very evident during the last administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, that, he himself will not even adhere to court injunctions, court rulings, or everything. Why would the DSS just arrest, keep you there, and not charge you?
Well, I will discuss this issue this way. Nigerian security agencies, I think in this part of the world, you arrest people and start looking for evidences to charge them to court. And what marvels me about this particular issue, if you remember, there was a time that they wanted to arrest Emefiele, and the presidency was shielding. The impression we had was that the president was shielding Emefiele from DSS from picking him up about some anti-terrorism or funding or whatever.
Financing of...
So if, and that was quite a while ago.
Yes, please.
So if at that period, you understand, you want to lay your hand on him, and you are not able to do that, I think between then and now, you are supposed to build up
your evidences.
You understand, waiting for the day that we have an opportunity to do that. Now, picking him up and 1 week, 2 weeks, 3, no, that's not fair. The constitution does not even allow it. You understand? Under any guys, the constitution says that if you are picked, I think there's a certain period that you need to take him to court. Yes, I think the DSS took what they call it,
took it too far.
Detention permit from the court, and I think they're hiding under that to detain him perpetually, but that's still not being fair. The fundamental rights is being trampled upon. They should just build up the case, charge him to court, let him have his day in the court. If the court, if there's no evidences to nail him, the court won't do otherwise. Instead of keeping him there, like you just want to tell him that, look, you have done something that's wrong. You want your showmanship for me, which should not be there. Whatever Emefiele might have done as CBN governor affects the whole country.
Absolutely.
You understand, not a particular section. So they should come clean on this and charge him to court so that he can have his day in the court.
All right, thank you, Mr. Babarinde. It's still Morning Spring right here from Western Spring Television, the Friday edition. And when I come back after this break, we want to look at two germane issues here. First of all, we want to look at what's the planned 8,000 Naira monthly for 12 million households in Nigeria. We're looking at about over 200 million households, but 12 million will be catered for with 8,000 Naira. I don't know if 8,000 Naira will fill your car. But we'll talk about that, because it's one germane thing. I know before now about 17,000, 17,500 will fill one of my cars. But right now I have to spend close to 42,000 to fill that car.
I made a trip to Ibadan last week, and I did 35,000 to go and come back. And if I just want to drive,
goodness.
All
right, when we return after this break, we'll look into that. And also, there is this should I say it's a rumor, but then until it's clarified here that former Minister of Interior Affairs, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, is not a member of the APC anymore. And there's quite a whole lot of, there's been controversies, there's been talk about that. I hope one of my guests is also in the house, that we can deliberate and shed more light concerning that. It's still Morning Spring. You know, we say it as it is right here on Western Spring Television. Don't go nowhere. We'll be back.
Arrested, affected, sound, found. What do we see? What do we say? Flowing from a spring. A fact A to Z. Check and confirm. Ever expounding current events. Traveling down from the business gist to the globally arising happenings, to the sports news, to the bittersweet infos. Guided transmission, even diffusion, vast and fast, detailed facts are fled. Within seconds, nuggets of words that flew across borders are fired. Stories short and long, wrapped in bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
The Berlin Conference of 1884 defined the configuration of Africa, which hitherto existed as a continent of multiple kingdoms and empires under native rulers. The conference, otherwise referred to as Congo Conference, regulated European colonization and trade in Africa as initiated by German leader Otto von Bismarck. The Berlin Conference is often called the scramble for and partitioning of Africa, as each of the imperial powers carved separate portions of the continent for themselves without recourse to racial and cultural identities and differences. 137 years after the Berlin Conference was held, Africa remains a legitimized playground for European nations that sought to exploit its wealth and resources and manipulate its human capital to promote trades and investments of Western powers. Western Spring Television identifies Berlin Conference as a major event in history. Kiriji War, also known as Ekiti-Parapo War, was waged among Yoruba main ethnic groups which emerged from the ruins of the falling Oyo Empire that were desperate to replace the awesome powers hitherto wielded by the Alaafin of Oyo. The Kiriji War is defined as a conflict of confederacy and unitary political system championed by Yorubas of different socio-economic and political interests. The Ibadan military aristocrats felt they deserved a dominant position for saving Yoruba land.
Here we go again. Thank you for being there. If you're just joining us, it's still Morning Spring from Western Spring Television. And if you're just joining us, you probably missed a part of the newspaper review that we had. And I'd like to give kudos and thanks to Mr. FUNMISO BABARINDE once again. Thank you for joining me on that. And also right about now, we will go extensively looking at some of the other stories we want to deliberate upon. Two things quickly. The issue of 12 million households to get 8,000 naira monthly. What is the structure of how to place 12 million households? How will they get to know these are the households that need this money? What are the plans of the federal government to share this money? We've had quite a whole lot of stuff like this in the last administration. We had trader money, we had markets, money market, so many things at 5,000 naira. It wasn't, it didn't really go around. Nigerians have complained. And this is another point to say 500 billion naira. Will this not go down the drain again? Somebody somewhere will see it and say, look, just get some people and then what have you. We've seen quite a whole lot of things like that in Nigeria, that more than half of that money will probably be swallowed up by a snake or taken away by monkey. We've heard stories. Nigerians are wondering how these 12 million households will be able to get 8,000 naira. Even at 8,000 naira, will that be enough? Is that worth it at all? These are things we want to discuss on the show this morning. And as at yesterday evening, the story has come out and people are agitated, but I will definitely get a clear picture of that story. And what am I talking about this morning? There is that saying that former Minister of Interior Affairs, former governor here as well in Osun State, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, is not a member of the APC anymore. Is that true? There's somebody in the house who will give us bring in an insight to that story for us this morning. Let me welcome the gentleman in the house this morning. First of all, let me welcome again Mr. FUNMISO BABARINDE. Thank you for joining me. And also, I want to say a big good morning and welcome to the man we all call Safety. I don't know how safe he is, though.
Good morning to you.
It's a pleasure to have ABOSEDE OLUWASEUN. He's a former factional youth leader of OSUN APC. Safety, in the course of this program, I think I will just leave that Safety. It's easier. So
I'm better known that way, actually.
Safety. When you are safe, it's very. I'm so assured I'm safe right here. Gentlemen, good morning. Let's first of all begin this program. Let's look at that issue of 12 million households to get 8,000 naira. Thank God we are all family men. We all know the situation of what the country looks like this day. I'm going to start with Mr. BABARINDE. Help us out. This humongous amount, if 500 billion naira has been approved, we saw the speedy approval from the National Assembly, which Nigerians have commended. There's been reaction in and out concerning. But my own concern, just like every other Nigerian, you and I, is that if 12 million Nigerians have been earmarked to say, you guys are going to get 8,000 naira monthly, first of all, I don't want to look at that aspect that is 8,000 naira even okay to run a family of, even if just the father, the mother, and just one child. Right. Is 8,000 naira able to contain and save, bring up survival for that family? But what I want us to first of all look at is, what do you think the structure of payment of 8,000 naira monthly should go?
Well, 8,000 for 12 million people in a country of 200 million. That statistically is less than 500,000 per state, 36 states and the FCT.
Yes. So
and also, for example, we have close to about 3-4 million or thereabout. That's about one quarter. Even if they're going to be, if the statistics is going to be right, you understand. And we have gone through this route before, and that's the problem everybody's having on this age now. And what are the templates? You understand? What are the parameters? how do you know the people, the beneficiaries? In a nation that we don't have a very concise or a standard data that you can use to identify who are those people that really need
the vulnerables.
The vulnerables. Who are the vulnerables? Who is not vulnerable now? The present situation that we are. Who is not vulnerable? Everybody is vulnerable now. That's the bitter truth. And for me, like Riley said, that 8,000 naira cannot, even a family of 3, within 2, 3, 4 days, that 8,000 naira will go. After 2 or 3, 4, in fact, I cannot take them more than maximum of 5 meals. And that's about 3 days. At the average of 2 meals per day, let's do 6 meals. You understand? And you are talking of 8,000 naira for a whole month, 30 days or thereabout. You understand? So, I don't know. Then one thing that baffles me about this particular policy was for the fact that we have an experience in the past. Remember 2012 that subsidy became very strong under President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. There was something that was put in place called SHOPI, subsidy investment program or something funny. And whether we like it or not, that program, despite the fact that that subsidy was not successful, still went ahead, and there are some things that they put in place that really cushion the effects for Nigerians. You understand?
Yes.
Or in this situation, I don't know. The former Minister of Humanitarian, that woman, Sadia Farouk or something like that, could not even explain up till now how that money was disbursed or spent. Up till now, nobody. I've not seen any person or any firm or statistics company saying, okay, this is the result, because despite all the budgetary allocation and all the finances of that thing, we are still a nation that is in poverty. So how do you justify that amount? From what I expect President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to do, that money could have been used in making sure that the affordability, because it doesn't succeed that the food is not even available. You understand? Available is different from affordable. You understand? Affordability would have been more better than giving money to people. Because if you have 10,000 naira and you know you can buy things that will take you 2-3 weeks with that 10,000 naira, it's better than having a 10,000 naira or 8,000 naira that what you're going to buy with you will not take you more than 2 or 3 days. Can you get the drift? Yes, so I said, those who are doing the strategic thinking, those backroom people that are doing the strategic thinking for this government, to find their way, nobody, I'm sure if there's an opinion poll on this thing today, 80% of Nigeria will not agree to it, because you won't even know who's going to be the beneficiary. That's the first thing. And number 2, and I think the state governor should come in here. Because at the end of the day, they're the one that are going to supply. They will start talking to them not to start supplying names or something like that. There's an agency that's going to be saddled with that. All those bureaucratic protocol. Even the banks that are going to take you through will still take you. It might not be 8,000 at the end of the day. Why can't they look at some things that they can spend this money on that can bring down? You understand a lot of things, so that at least the little money that's available to individuals will be used to buy quality things that will be beneficial to them as a family, rather than, like I told you the other time, I was in Ibadan last week, and to go to Ibadan and come back costed me 35,000 naira. Wow. Something that would 7,000-8,000 naira in December, I would do. I would do that trip. You understand? So that means if you're giving me 8,000 naira in a month now, because I'm vulnerable, I'm a vulnerable person too. By the time I roll my car within Oshogbo and do 1 or 2 things, within a day, the fuel is finished, the money is finished. You understand? So for me, I think the federal government should have a rethink. Ordinarily, they're supposed to be palliatives and all what have we put in place before subsidy is gone. That was the way our present subsidy is gone, and it was gone forever. But now that we have done that, before start thinking about what we're going to do, and we have been coping in the last couple of, because the pressure is much true, but at least Nigeria has been coping. I think the best thing is to do things that will really worth it, not this 8,000 naira thing. We have gone through this route before, and we cannot continue to do things same way and expect different results.
So, ABOSEDE, let me ask you your take concerning this distribution of 8,000 naira monthly. We've seen that in previous administrations, what they did, going to market money, trader money, this and this, and then for 5,000 naira. You and I know that even it's affected you and I, because I know I told Mr. Babarinde earlier that probably after work, then we used to probably go somewhere, take off, turn off the buttons, and then eat fish and do some bottled water and stuff like that. But then we understand what I'm saying. But these days we have to rethink, because if I have to go there before, spend 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 naira one evening, I will look at it, I will consider that if I have, I probably would have. But looking at 8,000 naira monthly to 12 million households, can this work in Nigeria?
Actually, good morning once again. Actually, I will come from another perspective.
All right.
You see, the thing is, although one, the 8,000 naira is a no-no. That is for the record. However, we must look at it from this perspective that that 8,000 naira is meant for the poor of the poor.
But how do we get this poor?
Yes, unfortunately, it is not a problem that is traced to this administration alone. So, but we just have to look at the little good side out of it. My brother, let me tell you one thing. How much did you think it takes the woman by the roadside that is selling pure water, that is selling vegetables, that is selling orange? On the other leg of your station, Reef FM, there is a program that they used to do there, Karakata, where you have people calling for as low as 5,000 naira. You understand? So, and when I happens to be in my car listening to the radio, and I had the amount of people calling in, and just in a bid for them to ensure that they are privy to have that 5,000, and I shake my head. So I would rather say, I will implore, the 8 million naira for 12 million people, I assume and I know is the first tranches of the palliative that is to come. So we plead with Nigerians that we keep on urging the government to do even more and even better. Now, instead of now criticizing that 8,000 naira in this holistic approach, I will now call for the monitoring team to ensure that this money, if at least indeed it did get down to the grassroots where it is mostly needed, it will affect it will go a long way to ensure that it ameliorated the suffering that the real downtrodden are feeling. That being said, it is still important for the government to look at the ease of transportations of farms products from the rural areas to the urban centers and all those sort of things. So, but in answering your questions, it is not good enough. However, it is somewhere where we are starting from. So let us ensure that the money actually gets not that the some rich will now look at how they can corner the entire money that is meant for a state. They put it in their pocket again. So I would rather say that we should clamor that 8,000 naira gets to the appropriate places that it is meant to get to.
We just hope it can get to where it will get to. But looking at it once again, let me still stay with you as a young man, but not too young.
Not too young.
Not too young. Looking at 8,000 naira from your own point of view. Is that what Nigerians need at this moment in time?
No. I've said it. I said no. I said it's a no. That's the first thing that I said. It's not meant for me. It's not meant for you. It's not meant for probably most of the people in this studio. It's not meant for us. As I've said, that's why I'm urging the government to do better. That's why I'm saying that they should do better. They can do better. It is not as if they can, in terms of job creation. At a point in time when my boss was holding this way, Raouf Aregbesola, he created OES. People are saying that how do you want the graduate to be sweeping the roadside? That was way back in 2012, 2013. They are collecting 30,000 naira, and people are still condemning it back then. But you can fast forward to what is actually happening now. you discover that government just need to be creative and think out of the box. And looking at, instead of just saying I'm giving money to people just like that, you may look at how they are going to improvise and make them useful and productive. Farming nowadays, you understand? So it doesn't cost the government to look at, but of course the money might still be embezzled, to look at, okay, in Osun State, how many acres of land can we have, and we employ people there to come and work there. You'll be giving them money, 30,000, 50,000 on a monthly basis, but at the same time they will be productive to the system.
Absolutely.
So productivity and thinking outside the box is what I'm going to encourage now, and I'm going to urge the government. But this one that they have said, and they are planning to implement again already, they have said it. Government hardly go back on their words in this part of the country, because they hardly listen to the yearnings of the common man. So I'm just praying that while it is not the money that we actually need, that Nigerians actually need, at least the 12 million people, if we can be sincere. My brother here said that he's going to boil back to the state government and the committees and even the banks that are in charge of this thing, to ensure that they have a human conscience and ensure that they do this thing critically enough to identify people which are easily known to me and you and to the press, and the press will partner in ensuring that you report the repertoire of what they are doing is actually televised. And so if it can't get to people that actually needs it, a lot of people need 800 naira to sell tomatoes, to sell as infinitesimal as it is to you and I, to our viewers. You understand? These are the people that they cannot even afford the electricity and the YouTube to view, to hear us. So, but if they can get this 8,000 naira, it will go a long way to them. It doesn't stop there anyway. The government should do better.
Let me, because I want us to quickly discuss our other topic, the plot to suspend Aregbe Shola, which has been uncovered. You have quite a whole lot to talk about here. But let me just ask Mr. Babarinde here. CSOs have come out to say the aspect of senators' reps to get 70 billion naira to enhance working condition. Some CSOs have said it's height of insensitivity. But then the lawmakers have come out to say fund is for National Assembly, not us. 70 billion naira. I don't know. I know my CEO probably is watching this at this moment. If I see 70 billion naira, I'll fall sick for 1 week. So I'll tell him I'm not coming to work. But is this truly, if 70 billion naira will be approved for lawmakers? Because I wonder, what is it for again? They are saying it's for National Assembly. What's there? Is the National Assembly wall broken? Are the chairs destroyed? Are the speakers? What is 70 billion naira for at this moment in time? Looking at the state at which Nigerians are drowning, taking away fuel subsidy, we've seen what it's costing us. Looking at the measure of the forex and all this at this moment in time, should this be the next step for the National Assembly members?
Well, I think I will discuss the issue this way. I'm not particular about that figure. I'm particular about the fact that presently in this nation we never call it sober reflection in all areas of our life. A sober reflection in the sense that everybody should look at what he can do, how we can go about it to make life meaningful for everybody. If you see the figures that comes out of a lot of budgetary allocation in this country, you'll be like, are we serious at all?
Where are all this money going to?
You don't understand. It's so weird figures. And at the end of the day, all those money will be used to do is something that is very small, and you won't even see the implementation at the end of the day, and that money will have left the cover of the nation. You don't get. Let me give you an example of what goes on in this country that we are not looking at. And that's why I said I think we should bring humanity into whatever we are going to do as individuals. I want everybody listening, politicians, even businessmen and people. There are a lot of roads in this country. Go to Ministry of Works that almost every budgetary year they allocate money to those roads, and at the end of the day, those roads in the last 20 years or whatever are still the same way.
It is.
But every year, if you critically look at the budget, you discover that there's always money allocated for either rehabilitation or reconstruction of those roads. Some people are in charge. The civil servants are there. Those who are putting the budget in place are there. And they are citizens of this country. Why? We have to prick our conscience. I think we have to talk to ourselves. So that's what I said. That figure, like my brother and I said, when they put figure on anything, forget it. In fact, most times that money will have been spent before they will tell us. That's only that. I'm cocksure of that. Most of these figures they see with the bandit around in the newspaper. That money will have been approved and spent before they will even tell us that they are allocating. That allocation is just for official, for public knowledge. It will have been allocated already. It will have been disbursed already before they even. You understand? That's the way we run this country. You understand that? Wow. I like I said, I don't want to go into the fact that for close to about 500 or 400 people in the National Assembly, 109 in Senate, 300 or something in the reps, for that kind of amount, I'm not even bothered. It could be even 100 trillion. It does not matter. But what is the effect? What are the qualities that are coming out from spending that money? Spending the money is not my problem. When they say they allocate hundreds of trillions of naira for the military people, I said, okay, good. They are the one that is sustaining us. Yeah. You understand? But let's see the effects of those money. Okay, we have the resources to sustain all those things. No problem. I don't care. You understand? But what does it translate to an average man walking on the streets? You understand? If you have allocated 70 billion naira to, what are the qualities of the laws and the regulations that we are doing, the oversight? What are the quality? Are we really getting the dividends of that amount as Nigerians? Because it's a commonwealth. Wow. It's taxpayers' money. You understand? These are issues. That's why I said we should prick our conscience. Most of this money have been implemented by the civil servant. Not the senator is just one, the rep is just one from home. That's what that thing passes through a lot of bureaucratic, a lot of tables. Everybody that is involved in this process, can we search our conscience? Are we really doing the best for the nation? Are we really doing the best for our people?
Do we still have leaders who've got conscience? Oh, it's just amazing. I don't know, but the few ones, let's do the needful, because posterity will always judge all of us in one way or the other, no doubt about that. And I keep taking this cue from when Nelson Mandela eventually passed on, and the grand burial the man had, the honor he had, even in death, it was massive. But because of time, I wanted to move on quickly. Just a couple of days ago, the State House of Assembly here came up to say, hey, there will be a repeal of the crest, the flag law, the national anthem. And we've always known that when former Governor Rauf Aregbesola was still governor, His Excellency, then the name of the state was taken one way, the state of Osun. But now the present government has said, hey, there's nothing like that. It's Osun State. But as yesterday, I heard that the national anthem is bound to, the state anthem, beg your pardon, is bound to stay. But the crest, the flag law, will probably take a new change. What do you make of that? Mr. Babarinde, please help us before I come straight at
the little I know about that issue, it was not even the House of Assembly that initiated the repeal of that law ab initio. It was one Honorable
Komi Ajibola
court.
Yes.
Even during the time of when Rauf Aregbesola.
Yes.
And I think the court advocated on that issue, and I think that case was that issue was the judgment was given.
Yes.
But I don't know. The information at my source says that the state government, probably after when Rauf Aregbesola didn't appeal that judgment, and I think when any court gives a judgment and there's a time limit, if you don't appeal, that means that judgment stays. Yeah. You understand? So bearing that in the mind, I think that's what the current assembly in the states banked on to eventually affect what the court has advocated on ab initio. Yes, for me, democracy since 1999 has evolved. There are a lot of things that has taken place. And we're in a federal system of government. And I think the constitution is very clear that anything that is not consistent, you can do things at local government, at states, at whatever level, even as an individual, but the constitution of the nation is sacrosanct, is the ultimate. If it's not consistent with the constitution, then that has to give way. But if it's consistent with the constitution of the country, it can sail through. And like I said, somebody who felt that thing was not consistent with the constitution of the country went to court, and my lord said, no, what you have said is right, and what the government has done is wrong. And nobody has said taken it either to the appellate court or down to country, because there are still other court that can educate on it. And I think since nobody appealed it, so for the current House of Assembly members, the honorables just felt, okay, let's implement the right thing as stated by the judgment. And got so good. The man that went to court so many years back on this issue is not a member of the House of Assembly. So that gives them, I think they must have discussed it in their caucus before bringing it to the plenary and making it public to us. So, and the anthem that the says states, that anthem is not a national anthem. Most people don't know. That anthem is the Yoruba.
Anthem was done by Baba Awolowo, whereby it was not translated.
In fact, Osun is just lucky
to have been the one
to have adopted as a state anthem, so that at least that tells us our Osun is the destiny of Yoruba race or Yoruba nation. You understand? So because Oyo has their own, Ogun has their own. But that anthem was even supposed to be for everybody who called a Yoruba, whether in diaspora or in Nigeria. That anthem is meant for everybody. So for me, well, they have done what they feel is right for the state.
Mr. Safety, let's quickly, let me take a view. What's your take concerning the repeal, as it was stated, but we know that Osun, state of Osun is now back to as Osun State, and this was done during your principal's period, who actually said, no, there is a state of Osun. And looking at what the State House of Assembly as well have said, hey, the state anthem will stay, but the crest, the flag law, what do you make of that? Are you in support of what has been done, or you feel they have gone overboard?
Well, the simple thing is just what matters most. I was reading through the content of the state anthem through your screen now, and I saw the heavy weights that were there as conceived by our fathers then, Baba Awolowo.
Yes.
Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, as stated by Mr. Alfonso Babarinde, just brought it on board, like so many things that he brought on board, that if we are listening, there's power in songs and in lyrics. So when you wake up in the morning, you read this, you recite this in the assemblies, in the heart of our children, so to begin to imbibe good cultures and omoluabi attributes in them. So I will thank the House of Assembly for not removing that beautiful anthem. So what they rather did, for those who didn't understand what the Assembly did, they thought that the Assembly has abolished the anthem as well, because they were talking about the law that is going to repeal State of Osun to Osun State, so that there's nothing more like Osun, State of Osun anthem. So because they have said that, they are assumed that the anthem has been but to go straight to your question as touching the flag and all those things, it doesn't really add anything to the development of the state. Is just nomenclature and semantics. So I would rather have us not to dwell on that. They have done what they want to do, and actually we should look at it from this perspective. It is not actually their own making. It is our friend that we left behind in government that actually left the template for them to do what they have done. In December 2017, December 14, 2017,
yes.
Mr. Akome Ajibola got the judgment from Osun State High Court that challenged, and he got a favorable judgment that the name of Osun State, State of Osun, should be changed to Osun State. And that was when Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola government was busy making preparation for the re-election of Gboyega Oyetola. So a lot of things were on board then that we left for the incoming administration, believing that we were friends. And we got there. we emerged. Of the moment Oyetola emerged, Jami Olawumi, I forgot his portfolio then. He was the first person that said that there's nothing like state of Osun. And it's a state of Osun called state of Ileshani. You understand? He was making banters and for 4 years he refused to appeal that judgment. The intention was clear. The intention, so the deconstruction, the deconstruction of Rauf Aregbesol's legacies and principles and names in Osun actually started under the government, you understand, which we considered our own, which is Gboyega Oyetola. So what the State Assembly were just doing, they are just cementing what they met on grant. So it is a no-no for me. I would rather look at the genesis of the issue rather than be focusing on the tissues. So, but the House of Assembly has done what they have powers to do, and in later time we will see the progressiveness or the otherwise of their actions.
All right, gentlemen, quickly, because of time, let's just, there's this other thing I want us to really discuss so that we can get a clearer picture of what is happening. There is a write-up as it came yesterday, and I want to thank most sincerely my head of station for this privilege here. There's this plot that we heard, that there's this plot to suspend former governor and former minister of interior affairs, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, who actually is of the All Progressive Congress of State. It has been uncovered. Now, the plot is being orchestrated, we heard that the plot is being orchestrated by ousted former governor Gboyega Oyetola and 5 of his loyalists, yes, among who are a senator, a former speaker of Osun State House of Assembly who lost their re-election. Others involved in the grand plot are a young former commissioner for works and transports and former commissioner for local government and chieftaincy affairs, who are said to be the initiator of the suspension idea. Now, we have it also on high authority that the Ilesha Ward 8 executives of the APC, which Aregbesola's ward, were manipulated as of Wednesday to sign a blank sheet of paper on the false pretense that the APC state leadership wanted to get their commitment to the progress of the party. Now, the write-up further went on to say that we are also reliably informed that a huge amount of money was given to the ward executives few hours ago by an emissary sent by Oyetola and other conspirators. It also went on to say that we know that having failed in the various attempts to blackmail Aregbesola, Oyetola and others resulted to unjustly suspend Aregbesola to stall the reconciliation between him and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, it's been stated that we want to state it clear that any attempt to suspend Aregbesola will backfire. That write-up was actually done by the former factional youth leader Osun APC, who is actually seated with me right here, Abosede OLUWASEUN. Let me just take it from him. Let me start with him here. What fact do you have to back this up, or is this one sort of tales by moonlight?
Well, actually, for those that have been following our activities and my person, I don't just cry wolf where there is none. Actually, something like this has almost happened in 2021. That was before we did the election. The Oyetola caucus had attempted to do something of this nature. This was just how I remember that I was on this station that particular point in time to say that we have discovered these things, because politics is a plot. When they are, if you don't know when they are plotting it, by the time you realize, you are gone already. And because Nigerian politics is a game where 15 might be greater than 30, where 5 will be minority, will be greater than the majority. The majority of the people in APC as of Osun today, they understand that they know the truth. And in 2021, as I said, that was Mrs. Florence was the ward chairman of Ward 8. That was the ward of Rauf Aregbesola in Ilesha. We had a plot that something like this is coming up. We raised it. Eventually, they denied it. But at the end of the day, the ward escorts have to come out to affirm what you have said and to declare and to rally behind Rauf Aregbesola back then, and they showed the word. They even had the press conference, they had the newspaper. Now, the previous day, on Tuesday, we had, because in politics, we always learn how to leave a friend behind the enemy line. So we have our people there amongst the supposed Ileri Oluwas, so they do amongst our own selves. So we understood, we know what's going on between ourselves. And we added on Tuesday, they called them together that there's going to be a meeting on Wednesday. That was yesterday morning. And on getting to the meeting, they were now telling them that they should append their signatures to some documents, because some of them have not been coming to meetings properly, that they want to obtain their commitment so that they will be coming to meetings. So, you know, most of the people are people that are not actually learned as well. They are our brothers and sisters that are either training or they are trading or they are doing these things. So, but it's not difficult for the party hierarchy there to append their signatures to an empty sheet. So, but eventually they back it up with cash as high as 300,000, 200,000, 500,000 in some instances, that they should be distributing it for people's opinion models in the society. So when they were questioned that what is this money meant for, then it came out that actually we want to nip a cancer in the bud, because we have discovered that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the former governor of OSUN State, Rauf Aregbesola, and the immediate Minister of Interior, they have a rapport that is going on actually at the national level. You know, state politics is different, local politics is different from the national politics. So they discovered that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his own wisdom, having realized that he cannot be doing the same thing the same way, and we expect to get a different result, that the next political dispensation is here. So he is closing rank, you understand, with his political godson, Rauf Aregbesola, and they are closing rank, and a lot of things are going on at the upstairs there. But the lack of Governor Boyega Famodun, Remi Omowaye, and all sorts of them here, that they have been clamoring that Rauf Aregbesola should be pushed out of the party, they quickly look at that, what can we do? So they want to engineer, having realized that all politics is local, they want to do the Oshiomhole for Rauf Aregbesola. That's what they did for Oshiomhole the other time. They wanted to hedge him out of the APC chairmanship position, and they know that they cannot do that at the national level, so they came to the local politics. So that's what they wanted to do, to forestall all arrangement that is going on at the national level, to ensure that you know, these are the people that they do their paper with, as proved separately. The House of Assembly election, Federal House of Rep election, Senate election, gubernatorial election, presidential election, they have been proved that on their own they cannot stand. And when you pick people like that, they will be feeling inferior, and they'll be looking at how they can hedge people that they really know that they originally owns the land. So that is why they are trying to look at how they are going to come up with one kangaroo suspension. Then instead of the reconciliation proper that we are preaching and that we are trying to ensure, will be distracted to be looking at how we are going to be sorting the issue of it has been suspended or something suspended. So far so good. This one has been, we have come to the open, we have said it now. They have a problem in their camp already. A lot of them have been calling, it is this one, it is not me, it is this one, it is not me. We have told them, you understand. So if you do it, you are going to see what is going to come out of it.
Yeah, this is Mr. Babarinde, just hold on for me. There's something I'm going to throw out by you, but I'm allowing Mr. Safety to lay a foundation for us to get a clear picture of what exactly is happening. But still staying with Mr. Abosede here, how possible is this, considering that a repositioning committee under the former Minister of Health has been put in place for the party? Don't you think that the tendency let me put it there, do you think the committee setup is not worth it? Or why, when there is a repositioning at this moment in time, do you think that committee is just one kangaroo committee?
It's a two-way issue. There are respected gentlemen and highly revered people in that committee, in terms of the former minister that you have made mention of, and one or two other people. But in actually, are the committee actually empowered to do what they want to do? When you want to reconcile two warring factions, up to date, I do not know how anybody want to reconcile anything in Osun APC that I will not get to know. I'm young, you understand, I'm 40 already. By the end of this year, I'll be 41. So at 40, and that I've been following my leaders, I understood what is actually going on. Till date, that committee that you are talking about has not called anybody from the caucus of Rauf Aregbesola political family. Not even one.
Oh.
They have never called no Salim Sile, no Alhaji Adeoti, no Najim Salam, no Ledalo Adebiyi, no my humble said that represents the youth there, no Rauf Adebashan. They have never reached out to anybody. That speaks volume to whatever the committee is doing. I do not know if they have a premeditated report that they want to issue, or they are being skeptical and they do not know how to approach the issue. As I've said, I will not preempt what is going to come up from the committee. However, that being said, you must realize one thing. You see, when you see the attribute of the weak is to want to circumvent the system. What is actually going on? What we see that they are trying to do, they knew that Ajewole is a respected Ijesha man. You not want to soil his name under the pretext of wanting to appease some few minorities somewhere. So what they are trying to do is that they want to circumvent whatever is even coming out of that committee. Perhaps that man has seen through the plot of some people in Osun APC and is not ready to play ball. That is the reason why they are going.
Are you talking about the former minister of health?
I'm talking about the former minister.
Oh, okay.
Minister of health.
Okay.
The committee that I said that perhaps they have seen through, because it is not. It is an open fact. In April 2022, April 2022, the former governor Boyega Oyetola at Freedom Park there said it openly in a very reference to Rauf Adebashan that the emergence of FUNMISO as the minister. As the secretary of the party, you understand, is going to retire a lot of politicians in Osun, referring to the Adebashan political family. Prince Famodun is now the king in Igbajo Island, is subjected to some certain things. Said it openly that rather than he sits down with the member of the defunct top then, referring to Adebashan political family, that will rather negotiate with PDP. And at the end of the day, he never negotiated with PDP or another sat with top. And we have several instances where these people said that we are not assisting. At the end of the day, they said that we are the reason for them to lose. I do not know the reason. Someone that you claimed not to need to win an election cannot be responsible for your loss. But we are past. We are outside that place already. So, but what I'm telling you is just this, that in answering you directly, they knows that the committee cannot come out of anything, that they cannot bring anything because we are not even being invited. Hence, their attempt to go through the back door to go and do their caricature and kangaroo illegal suspension that is even dead on arrival in any case. So don't underestimate what these people are capable of doing. They are capable of the modern unity and cohesion in Osun APC, and hence they cannot sleep again. So the only thing they can do is to continue to model that peace, model that cohesion, model that unity for their own sustainability, because they know that once APC is back together as one, the real owner of the APC will push them aside. That's their fear.
Before we call it a wrap, and before I quickly bring in Mr. Babarinde here, is it true that top members and others within the Aregbesola tendency worked for PDP? That's what the APC in Osun is claiming now.
No, wait, you have said it. On July 15, because what I'm going to ask you on July 15, on July 15, top issued a statement. That was through the top chairman, Edalowa Adebiyi, that we were not in any alliance with PDP. For crying out loud, we are in APC. We have issues. PDP have their own issues internally. Everybody will have their own issues. So we have no alliance. We issued a statement on July 15 directing every member of the APC in Osun, be you top or anything, to work for the emergence. That is what is actually in the fact. So, and to the thing that they are talking about, that some people in top, we have dissolved top. But before it was even dissolved, we worked for APC. Some people were aggrieved then because these are the people that they have been shot at. My humble persons were attacked in my house in the presence of my wife and my children. They took away my Camry card that I was using then, and a lot of people were attacked. They were shot at. So some people were aggrieved. They stood aloof without participating in the election because they looked at it that these people, you are planning everything that is inimical to my own progress. So, but as I've said, that they said that they appointed some people, they appointed 2 people. Kolokwa Alimi had actually left for PDP. Is not no longer a member. Is our friend, just like he is my friend, just like anybody. In as much as it is just politics, there are really no principles in politics today. You see Anomi Shore that has been, that is now our leader party, is in our party in APC today. So Kolokwa Alimi actually left for PDP. You can't attribute that to Aregbesola political family. Edabi Yodunlade Uncle B Odunlade, in his own wisdom, you understand, has left the system as well. So for the fact that someone has not been celebrated that, okay, you have actually decamped, how can you now say that those are members of top? So they are not. The OLUWAKERS are just looking, they are a sinking ship that do not want peace and stability, and I do not know what they want to gain for crying out loud in all this. We have conducted all the election, we have lost everything in Osun State. In the next 2 years now, the process begins again. And why don't we come together and make ourselves one and rebuild the system? You cannot continue to do the same thing the same way and you expect different results. For Osun APC to reposition itself and push away this my gentle brother that are here, that is here, you understand, to push them away, we must come together and one and ensure that the two hands that we have, we use it together to fly. So Babarinde,
politicians, when it comes to your thing, mine is to report and say it as it is. But I want to wish you all the very best, and please, what is needed to be done to bring stability in the populace is what we call for. And I know because we are out of time, my director is beginning to shout into my ears at this moment in time. I want to thank both of you most sincerely for this opportunity. Thank you for coming. It's been a pleasure speaking with Safety, Mr. Abosede Oluwaseun, a former factional leader, youth leader of the APC right here in Osun State. We wish you the best. Please, let's do the needful and let all aggrieved come together and let's have beauty in politics. I want to most sincerely thank Mr. Babarinde, FUNMISO Babarinde, PDP chieftain. I'm most honored. Thank you for coming on the show this morning. And to my director, the cameraman, my producer, the one we call IDOWU up in here. Thank you most here. And I'll be back again on Monday on another edition of this program, Morning Spring. But I'll leave you in the hands of my director. He says he wants us to laugh a little bit, and let's take that into the weekend. Tunde IDOWU is my name. See you on Monday.
Àwọn ọmọ nílé àdúgbò yìí so mo ní mẹ́fà lówó yín ibo lẹ lọ ní sí orí yín dàrú ni mo ń bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ sì ń lọ lẹ́yìn ò bá fẹ́ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ká ẹni tí ó jẹ́wọ́ èyí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni gbogbo change yín madam.
ẹ má wọlé ẹ má mú bàbá ọlọ́kadà.
madam ibo lẹ lọ madam
tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní kọ̀ọ̀kadà tí mo wà lórí.
madam ṣé ti yín di ni àbẹ́ wa gbà mí.
orí ọlọ́wọ́ rẹ ló yí.
ìyá yóò mọ̀ mi sá.
tí mo bá wà mọ̀ nǹkan.
ṣé mi ni mò ń bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ ń wọ́ọ̀kì wé sẹ́fẹ́ kọ́kú láti.
ẹ kí Jesus name.
bọ́ọ̀lù èké ń ṣí ibù lèmi náà tágù bá ti ń ta ìfẹ́yìn ìbàjẹ́ ṣe é mọ mí ni rẹ̀ ẹgbàá adúlẹ̀ jẹ́ fi hàn yín. èmi lè fẹ́ mọ fi bísímìlà orúkọ Jésù nǹkan tẹ̀sí mo bá lè gé mo kàkérò mo súnmọ́ ká ẹ já wèrè. kí orúkọ aṣọ tiẹ̀ lé aláró. kápẹ́tà àdé fi sàtìlẹ̀ sí hàn. ooo ìwọ lolùgbèjà sẹ́ẹ̀tì àwọn Jésù. jẹ́kú bèrè ẹsẹ̀ wọn wò láre. kílẹ̀ tó ń pa. ìwà àgbẹ̀ kí ló ń gbẹ́nu ẹ̀. jẹ́ n fi hàn true accent. rẹ́dí. ìyẹn pé mi ò já wèrè dànù. ó gbá mi ń tó bá lọ. well played. ìwádùn kò yá mọ́ fi gíga dì náà ni. ìwọ lọ́nà ọ̀gbẹ́ni sábẹ́. yọba pa ó ti ṣe ọjà ara lórí ìwọ wà fẹ́ la. sẹ́mi ni mọ́dẹ̀ ẹ̀rẹ́ lẹ́yìn ò ní jẹun tó láta. lóde mi náà lóde mi. bàbá yà rẹ̀ lamshank yóò sì dúró jẹ́ fi lamshank. ta ló gbé ọ̀sọ́ rẹ̀ gan-an. mọ́fìlọ̀ mi dá sí.
Arrested, affected, sound, found. What do we see? What do we say? Flowing from a spring. A fact. A to Z. Check and confirm. Ever expounding current events, traveling down from the business gist to the globally arising happenings, to the sports news, to the bittersweet infos. Guided transmission, even diffusion, vast and fast, detailed facts are fled. Within seconds, nuggets of words that flew across borders are fired. Stories short and long, wrapped in bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
Thank you, Jesus. Hey! After many years, get this work. Me, I call this guy. And I want something on. Praising the name. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, guy, before I go good, I call it give me shit too. And I want something on. Hello? Take out for now. Hey, my brother. I don't tell you, say I don't receive that office. If I tell you, say I did that office now, then you don't believe. That's so we see how, after we talk that they finish, now they call me, say me I can resume. They call me home, I did it. Don't stand that yet. After many years, they find job, do interview. I don't get the job. The office, you see me? The office guys now, I get one telephone for my phone here. I never know what I want to do. They never claim me. But very soon, though, they'll come claim me now. See, I better go anywhere. When I come out here, we'll go do some bottles. We'll go do some bottles normally. I will call you later. I'll call you later. That means what you. Just that office that you just. Your office, clean finish.
Oh, young man.
You're welcome, sir.
Sit down. So, I believe you're really enjoying your office, okay? Well, I can see your excitement. Hope you're already enjoying the environment.
What will I do?
I can see you're happy.
Yeah, very well. After many years, I've been looking for a job.
That's good. All right, so there was something I forgot to tell you the other time when we're talking. You know, the first person that occupied this particular position, the guy died after 1 year. And the second person, that was 6 months, he died after 6 months. And later, we got another guy. He died just about 3 months ago. No cause for that. I believe with you, everything is going to be all right, okay? It's going to be all right, okay? I'll see you later, okay? See my office later before you go. Okay? Hello?
The first one died. The 6 months, another person died. The third one died again. And maybe the fourth one. Sir.